Hello everyone, welcome back to SliverStar Arcade and more The Great Ace Attorney Escapades. In today's episode 6. In this escapade in Mr. Natsume's room, it's revealed that the Japanese scholar was once a teacher of English. He has much to say on the cultural differences between Japan and Britain, as well as on sentimentality, Shakespeare, and cycling. Once again, gotta say it, I like that they have a spoiler warning. Darn, I'm out of water. Man, when was the last time we saw this room? 23rd February, 6:09 p.m., Mr. Natsume's room. So, Mr. Natsume, are you really returning home to Japan?
Yes, indeed I am. Everything is arranged already.
Well, I'll be sad to see you go. And after Reno worked so hard to prove your innocence as well. What a shame. It feels like it was all a wasted effort.
Don't say that! I know what you're suggesting.
Now calm down, Mr. Natsume. It's all fine, really. You're in good company here, sir. If you fear the Reaper, you needn't hide the fact.
I am a proud citizen of the Empire of Japan. I am not a scaredy cat.
I love doing his voice. Talking of cats, Mr. Sholmes just casually threw one among the pigeons there.
A man like me belongs in Japan, not here. That's what I've come to realize.
I wonder. A mustache such as yours is eminently suited to London, I would say. There goes Mr. Sholmes, throwing another cat in.
The moment I arrived in this city, I noticed. Everyone in London laughs at me behind my back, like hyenas. Hysterical hyenas, hahing horribly.
God, I love him. It is kind of cool that he was a real person, too. I'm sure that's not true, Mr. Natsume. Man, deja vu.
Oh, but it is. Whenever I turn around and peer down the fog-filled streets, all I see is foreigners everywhere.
Well, there's you, Reno, and Susie in here, so that's 3 foreigners out of 5. I take your point.
Only the other day, I was taking a stroll through the fog as usual, when a young man approached me from ahead. He was pale and gaunt, his back arched like a cat. Observing his wretchedness moved me so deeply. I thought to myself, I'm not the only one suffering in this hell. But, do you know what? Can you imagine? It was just my own reflection in a shop window. A stunning, stinging, stupefied surprise.
Don't forget slap in the face.
Everyone started laughing at me. Gentlemen thereabouts, ladies passing by. Even the man in the shop window.
Yes. And a certain great detective would like to be included among the Mariful.
Go!
Mr. Sholmes is really going for Soseki-san today.
Well, I for one think you're a very handsome man, Mr. Natsume.
There, did you hear that? This 10-year-old girl thinks you're handsome. Isn't that wonderful?
That makes me feel suspiciously warm inside.
He looks genuinely delayed. Hey, look. People don't get called handsome often, right? Like, even myself, I've only ever been called handsome by, I think, my mother and my nana, right? So, like, yeah, if anyone of any age were, you know, other than family were to call me handsome, I'd feel warm and fuzzy inside, too.
The point is, we Japanese are humble and modest. Studying on foreign soil, surrounded by foreign people. How could anyone possibly enjoy that? No one could. It's impossible. If you're a genuine Japanese.
If you say so. Actually, it would appear that there is someone. A Japanese man who studied in a foreign country
and seems to have thrived on the experience.
There is?
Mr. Ogai Mori. I believe he studied in Germany.
Mr. Mori, pray tell us more of the fellow.
Well, today, he's a very successful author in Japan.
Oh, I've heard of him. He's the professor who wrote My Hime, isn't he?
My Hime?
I suppose in English the title would be Dancing Queen, maybe.
Oh, I see. A tale of a woman who waltzed her way through the world, perhaps.
You really needn't make up a silly translation, you know. It's already officially called The Dancing Girl in English.
It seems Mr. Mori greatly enjoyed his time in Germany. He became close with a local lady while he was there.
Close, you say? With a local lady? A compatriot's criminally contradictory conduct. Well, I suppose your experience of studying abroad depends to a large extent on your character. Oh, as they say, many men, many minds.
I like that one.
Mr. Mori has an open mind, Mr. Natsume a closed one. Possibly a slight black and white view, do you think, Mr. Sholmes?
Well, anyway, if that's how you feel about being abroad, why did you choose to study here?
Wasn't it to further our nation's understanding of English language or something? Yes, that's right.
So, what were you doing in Japan before you came to Great Britain, then?
I was a school teacher. Of English, of course.
A bit cursory, perhaps, but I've managed to discover some information about Mr. Natsume's teaching days.
That's just a little outside the field of law, isn't it, Miss Asado?
Well, let me pose you a question, Mr. Naruhodo. If you had to translate the English phrase, I love you, into Japanese, what would it become?
I know this thanks to Pokemon. I can't believe that's actually like a quiz you get in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is this question. But no, I know it just from media.
That's easy. Ashitu. Oh no, Ashitu. I can't pronounce Japanese. Or Suki desu. Wrong. According to Mr. Natsume's teachings, at least. What? Would you like to explain, Mr. Natsume?
Yes, of course. Your research was very thorough. I always used to tell my students that we Japanese don't express ourselves that way. Rather, we say, Tatsuki ga kai desu ne. My dear Mr. Natsume, I must interject. Tatsuki ga kai desu ne would translate as, the moon is beautiful, isn't it? I know that!
The point is that we Japanese are reticent when it comes to expressing our emotions. We prefer to show our feelings of adorations, our suki, by appreciating the beauty of the moon, the tatsuki. Or suki.
Ah, using the tsuki to express suki. It's an amusing play on words, I see. No, or in language you might understand better, bad Sholmes. It's not a play on words. It's subtle, it's humble, it's fleeting and beautiful. It's art. I mean, I agree with you there. The moon...
Isn't it just being shy?
Oh. My dear fellow, the foreign dancing girl will forever be out of your reach with such an attitude. Ugh. Imagine how the great Mr. Mori would act. He would win the lady's heart in a flash for the well-placed and unrestrained I love you. Ugh, that's smooth, Mr. Mori. Am I destined to live in his shadow forever? Just what sort of man is he in that your imagination of yours? The fact is, I just can't settle in this foggy London town with all its foreign inhabitants. Anyways, but like I was trying to say earlier, I actually really like the thing about the moon. The moon's always been a fascinating thing, and it's long been associated with mystery and love, right? Yeah,
And there's a bunch of love songs or songs about loneliness that mention the moon, right? So I can just picture it, just like asking a girl, the moon's beautiful tonight, isn't it? And then if you want to make it super corny, do it while the moon's not in show, and just say, and then just somehow relate it back to her face. Look, I'm bad with love and flirting, alright? You guys gotta cut me some slack here.
I've lost count of the number of different lodgings I tried before I found myself here. As it happens, I even lived on Baker Street at one time.
No, really?
A Sao scholar lives near there, a man by the name of Williams James Craig.
I don't know what it means by Sao scholar, but...
His knowledge of Sao is unsurpassed. It's been a great inspiration to me over the...
Forgive the interruption, but am I supposed to be familiar with this Sao of which you speak? Or Sao?
It's Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare. But in Japanese, we write as S as Sa and O. It's a phonetic representation using kanji characters, so England is Aigirisu, and America is America.
Come to think of it, we use the same characters as Ri in one word and Risu in another. Talk about confusing. So Shakespeare is Sao in Japanese. Presumably the Sa is a brutal attempt at the first Sha. In which case, where is the Kitsphere? I've never thought of that. Why only have the O left? Which could, even in the most charitable interpretation, only be brutally attempt at old man.
It seems to me that whoever had the job of deciding on the characters for his names got bored very early on.
Complete kanji character catastrophe!
So then, on to the burning question. What about me? How do you write my name?
Sorry?
Herlock Sholmes, my dear fellow. There must be Japanese characters for my name.
Oh, dear. I am sorry, Mr. Sholmes, but none exist that I'm aware of.
What? Am I really nothing to you Japanese? In that case, it is a matter of paramount importance. You must construct my name in kanji at once. Oh, well, we could use a kanji that's pronounced so to start with, and then use one more to give so. Oh, perhaps? I think would be about right, Mr. Sholmes?
But that's almost the same as so, isn't it?
Yes, you employed the dreaded. Oh, I don't want people to confuse me with an old man who died centuries ago. I'm sure the world's greatest Larry figure would rather not be confused with you either.
Well, the world's greatest detective is still youthful and full of vigor, so how about so handsome?
Oh yes, that sounds wonderful. I'm sure everyone will be calling you that 100 years from now.
How can she say that with a straight face? She's in love with him, duh. The ultimate fangirl is what she is. I just realized she's basically Amy from, like, Sonic.
What about me then? Iris? Perhaps Hime? Since the second character doesn't seem to matter? Hime. Oh yes, Princess of Love. That's an adorable name for you, Iris.
Stop, please! With a name like that, Mr. Mori is likely to turn up at any moment and rashly declare I love you.
This Mori-san has become quite a character in Soseki-san's mind. And you, Mr. Naruhodo, might I venture Karubozo as a fitting name for you, as in the Dark Monk?
Aw, that's cool. That's a cool name.
Oh, that's very good. It describes you perfectly, Runo.
So you think I'll be wearing this black varsity uniform for the rest of my days, do you?
But Mr. Naruhodo already has a Japanese name. I don't believe he needs another. Well, anyway. We were talking about your life here in London, weren't we, Mr. Natsume? You should just get out and have fun.
The landlady has said as much to me too.
Mrs. Garridib?
But it wasn't fun at all. It was frightful.
Whatever do you mean?
A cycle incident.
An incident on a bicycle? Oh yes, come to think of it. Wait, do we actually get to figure out what happened with the bike? There's an old bicycle parked just outside, isn't there? It's in a sorry state, though.
I tried to say no to her, but she insisted I take it for a ride. Perhaps my pronunciation was wrong. So I took my life in my hands and attempted to ride the steel spider-web stallion to a nearby park. I really don't think there's anything wrong with your
Oh, sorry, that's Sasato. I really don't think there's anything wrong with your pronunciation, Mr. Natsume. Joanne Garridib just isn't the kind of woman to take no for an answer.
If you're going to die, you might as well die in beautiful surroundings, so the park was my first thought. After a whole day of dicing with death, I emerged with only relatively minor bruises.
So, you got the knack of it?
Don't be silly! Dying isn't something you can learn to do.
Mr. Natsume, you keep talking about dicing with death and dying and so forth, but riding a bicycle is supposed to be fun.
Oh no, that's just what people tell you. But it's an old wives' tale.
Is it?
I mean, just consider the real name of the vehicle. It's not called a dicycle for nothing. How anyone expects to use such an aptly named vehicle to move forward is beyond me. Pedal power promises pain.
I didn't think it was possible to get worse with practice.
I'm lucky to be alive. Although, I must say, after looking death in the eye for a whole week, I did at last manage to mount the steed reliably. And notwithstanding a few wobbles, I found I could make progress in the forward direction.
What a triumph. Deduction is much the same. When first presented with a problem, the mental exertion of trying to solve it leads only to bitter disappointment. But after a week of picking one's way carefully along the path of reason and thought, one begins to see results. So, is that why all of your off-the-cuff deductions always seem half-baked?
What a wonderful insight into your extraordinary mind, Mr. Sholmes.
Unfortunately, after wobbling down the street, I noticed there were little stones everywhere. Death traps. Not that way, I said to myself. But the wild vehicle wouldn't listen. It wobbled me on and on down the street. So of course I hit one of those deadly stones, and the crazy colt threw me. It's just my luck. Bicycles are the epitome of my pitiful life.
I wish I could disagree.
On the same subject, I'm sure there's a famous American author who's written about having a similar experience.
Oh yes, I've read that essay too, Iris. Some of us are better read than others.
Well, no more bicycles for me.
Oh, Mr. Natsume, at least you have an interesting anecdote to take with you back to Japan, if nothing else.
You always manage to put a positive spin on things, don't you, Miss Sasato? Personally, I haven't mounted a bicycle for some time.
No, me neither.
That's good.
So how about a jaunt? We shall all ride out together.
Huh?
That sounds great. I'll perch behind Miss Sasato.
What? But the sun is going down. It'll be pitch black before long.
London street lamps are very bright, you know, and the fog isn't too thick today.
And my beloved ride is all bent out of shape.
My dear fellow, if you are bound to topple the vehicle anyways, it's fin that's already bent out of shape.
It's sailed then. Come along, Mr. Natsume. Shall we go?
We're gonna kill this poor man. Tasuki ga keri desu ne. Don't tell me his translation of no thank you as well. Don't tell me that's his translation of no thank you as well. Indeed, Mr. Natsume, the moon is at its most beautiful at precisely this time in the evening. Oh,
We're not Japanese. You can't beat around the bush with us.
what a weird and wonderful world. I really like that one. Well, anything with Soseki I love. Soseki's like my favorite character in this game. Well, aside from, especially for voicing. I don't know why, but I love the voice I gave for him. Alright, so that's going to do it for this episode. Yeah. That was a really nice one. Really nice. Yeah, I can't think of what else to say about that. I really liked it. So, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay safe, have fun, and have a great day.